Once upon a time there was a world with no lie.
What? When was that? Before Homo erectus could stand upright?
Believe me.
Nuh-uh, that is the last thing I will do.
We are just getting started.
Yeah, and it's my show. Buzz off and wait for your turn.
Here we go.
Now that that's dealt with, we can start with my story. Welcome back to my channel, Who Said What? Where we review theories and publications of philosophers. Today we have a very interesting piece for you titled Truth and Politics by the German-American philosopher Hannah Arendt. In her world, never ever was there a time in this world that lies were not present, especially in politics, because even facts are destructible. Seems like a rather aggressive stance, I know, but hold on, let me try and convince you. But first, let's get Miss Arendt to join us if she will.
We are calling out to you. Tell us you're safe. Tell us where you are. Can you hear us? Answer us.
Ja, ich fürchte, ich muss erst einmal protestieren.
Miss Arendt, how kind of you to join us.
Who the heck are you and what do you want from me?
Oh, we're just here to talk about the truth and lies in politics. I thought you might be interested in joining the conversation.
I mean, after life is kind of boring anyway. Now, child, let me start off by telling you the types of truth. There are more than one. There exist two kinds of truth, rational and factual. Rational truth is that of science, of math, of philosophy. Rational truth is the kind of truth that will be realized regardless of people or time. Even if Newton didn't exist, someone else will eventually find out about gravity. Thus, rational truth is indisputable. Factual truth is completely different. I'm assuming you've read my essay and that's why you summoned me here. Let's see how much you remember.
Okay, well, factual truth refers to happenings, circumstances, and events. And factual truth is always related to other people, and it is established by witness and depends upon testimony.
Very good. Factual truth is political by nature because of exactly what you said. Factual truth exists only to the extent that is spoken out. Generations of historians and philosophers of history have demonstrated the impossibility of confirming facts and writing them without interpretation.
I found this part of your essay in questioning the validity of factual truths particularly fascinating. You stated that although facts and opinions must be kept apart, that facts inform opinions, that freedom of opinion is farce unless factual information is guaranteed and the facts themselves are not in dispute. Yet, if, as you said, facts are impossible to confirm, then opinions would always be farce.
Well, taking history as an example, we may admit that our generation has the right to write its own history, but we don't admit the right to judge the factual matter itself. We're concerned here with brutally elementary data of this kind, whose indestructibility has been taken for granted.
I see. But that doesn't change the tendency that factual truths are easily and perhaps often transformed into opinions. Like, is there a fact to whether the Americans won the Korean War?
We can't know that as a fact. What we can know is the fact that North Korean military forces crossed the border and went into South Korea in 1950. The matter of winning or losing, that's opinion.
So then the value of truth is obsolete, isn't it? If the existence of factual truth is limited to the factual happenings of events, then it brings no value to the table.
I agree with you on that. The mere telling of facts leads no action whatsoever, and in normal circumstances, it even tends towards the acceptance of things as they are.
This is why truth and politics don't mix. You pointed out that the hallmark of factual truth is that the opposite is neither error nor illusion nor opinion, but the opposite of factual truth is lies.
Deliberate falsehood, yes. Though error is of course possible and common with regards to factual truth, however, the point to note is that with respect to our factual truth exists an alternative. I ate Fruit Loops or breakfast this morning.
Wait, you guys had Fruit Loops in the 60s?
Yeah, it came out the same year I wrote this essay.
Nice.
As I was saying, a factual truth, for example, that I ate Fruit Loops for breakfast this morning can have endless alternatives. I ate a pretzel this morning or a Pop-Tart.
What, Pop-Tarts are old too?
You got a point. These alternatives do not belong to the same domain as ours, because these alternatives are deliberate deviations from the fact. It is a form of action to lie.
And this is a part of the essay that I'd like to also focus on, your claim of the need of lies in politics. I found your take on the need of lies in politics to be rather optimistic towards human nature. You said that a liar is an actor, that a liar says what is not true because he wants things to be different from what they are, that he wants to change the world. You even went as far as calling our ability to lie a little miracle. Even though I agree that amongst other things, our ability to lie belongs to one of the few obvious data that confirms human freedom, it seems as if the reasoning in which you impose to support all the lies in politics is just too positive.
Child, no one has ever doubted that truth and politics are on rather bad terms with each other. We may even come to the only conclusion that lying can very well serve to establish or safeguard the conditions for the search after truth. If all truth are told, the world will perish.
I must disagree with you. Human beings have the innate ability to think. The part of processing information varies amongst men, and despite the mundanity and unchangeable quality of truth, men can form differences of thoughts pertaining to the truth.
And that will be opinions. When have you ever seen anything get done when only opinions are raised?
Fair enough. But seriously, woman to woman, do you really think that all lies are necessary and benevolent?
Now per se, there are more than one kinds of lies as well. The traditional lie concerned only particulars and was never meant to deceive literally everybody. It was directed at the enemy and was meant to deceive only the enemy. Facts always occur in a context, and a particular lie which doesn't try to change the whole context tears a hole in the fabric of factuality. Thus, the lie will eventually show up because the rest of the texture is kept as is.
Yes, I'm aware that the other kind of lies you framed as modern political lies, like 50 years ago, though I would defend your point of view in this day and age as well. Anyway, you said that these modern political lies deal with things that are not secrets at all, and contemporary history is being rewritten under the eyes of those who witnessed it. But since the whole narrative has changed and people get an entire new image, that these blatant lies can just exist and are accepted as perspective, that doesn't sound benevolent anymore.
You're right, all these lies harbor an element of violence. These lies destroy whatever has to be negated. That's the difference between traditional and modern political lies. The former hides and the later destroys.
Don't you think that the increased violence and lies comes from the acceptance of it within politics? I mean, if you look at our politicians nowadays, they're definitely doing worse. They're not poking holes or destroying the canvas. They're basically grabbing an entirely different canvas and pretending that it was there the whole time.
Every generation always think they have it worse than the last, but I can't blame you. I see you politicians nowadays. That Donald Trump, funny guy. I don't like him.
How did you know Donald Trump got elected? He still had a full head of hair when you died.
What, you think you sent us to afterlife without Wi-Fi? You're thinking about hell.
My bad. Speaking of Trump, though, I was thinking of having him on the show since I think this might be a topic he could really contribute to.
Well, that's all for me. I'm leaving before he comes. Get me out of here.
Okay, I'm on it. Well, thank you for being here today, Miss Arendt. Miss Arendt? Hannah? Wow, she really doesn't like him. Well, that was a fruitful discussion. I think there could be a further division of types of lies in our modern politics, though, according to function. Yes, we have gone from a whole to destroying the texture to 3 different types of lies that has their own different functions. There exist various kinds of lies, and each of them serves a specific function. Some possesses the target to mislead the audience in order to reach a predetermined goal. Some aim to conceal the truth that might lead to negative political results, and others might have the function of self-protection or defense. Different from the former ones, these ones are exclusively for personal utility. So let's check out some examples.
Ready? You have the cameras rolling?
Yeah, come on out. It's your turn anyway. So, thank you so much for joining us today.
I have been on their cover like
What?
14 or 15 times.
No, you haven't.
I think we have the all-time record in the history of Time magazine.
That's a lie right there. But whatever. About your 2016 election.
It was the biggest electoral college win since Ronald Reagan.
No, it wasn't.
Obamacare covers very few people.
Not true.
I could be the most popular person in Europe.
No.
I could run for any office if I wanted to.
No!
We will build a great wall along the southern border.
No. Wait, okay. Yeah, you kind of did that.
And Mexico will pay for the wall.
No! Okay, that's all the time we have for you today. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here.
But I don't want
Thank you. Oh my goodness. All I wanted to talk about was when he ran for office in 2016, he promised Americans that he would build a wall. And technically he did do that, with a lot of it being renovations. But at the same time, he threw out a lot of false statistical forecasts on how much the wall will lower the number of illegal immigrants and how Mexico will pay for the wall, which are blatant lies made to mislead his audience into voting for him. This kind of proves Arendt's point, though, that lies lead to actions.
Hillary want to talk.
Seriously? You too?
Well, but I've got several.
You want to talk about how the Democratic Party basically...
We're going after where we think the real money is, as we say, follow the money. And the tax system has been, in my view, not effective in capturing money from people who are very successful, and we need to do a better job.
Yo, the Democratic Party is also lying straight off. Granted, in a less annoying manner, but lies nonetheless. It's a famous statement in your candidate's speech that you would add a higher tax rate on those rich people in order to lower the wealth gap between the rich and the poor. However, the Democrats never successfully accomplished that. Want to know what I find really funny? The Republicans managed to lower the tax rates, especially with the highest margin. In other words, what Donald Trump has stated in his presidential election speech on lowering the tax rate for corporations had been proved to be true.
I gotta go.
Yeah, you do. Speaking of the American government, it's really quite interesting. There are so many obvious and classic lies one can find there that fits every sort of example. But I guess if I speak Spanish, I guess I can say the same thing about the South American politicians, or Arabic, maybe, in the Middle East. Or, well, I do speak Chinese, but let's not get into that hot mess. While we're on the topic, I brought in a friend of mine who is highly regarded writer who had been fighting for civil rights to tell us a little bit about concealment of government. Welcome.
Hi, Barbara. Thanks for having me. I've been working on a lot of cases where country governments conceal the happenings of events from its people. For example, the cause of the recent Beirut explosion is mainly because the government hid 2,750 tons of ammonium nitrate from its people for 6 years straight. And also, the Brazilian president Bolsonaro concealed the severity of the Amazon fire to avoid international criticism. The Chinese government concealed the coronavirus in the first months of its existence, which may or may not have caused the severity of the global pandemic today. Governments lying in ways of concealing is too common that we almost see it as normal, until people couldn't take the accumulated lies and either vote them out or perform political uprisings.
These are very good examples to go against Arendt's theory that these political lies lead to action. In fact, these lies lead to inaction of the people because what is to be acted upon is concealed. Although one can also agree with her because at one point she said that it is only when everyone lies that the truth becomes the drive to act. Wow, she's good.
That's a good point. It's very clear in some cases that truth is the call to action. The Snowden case, for example, Edward Snowden copied highly confidential information when he worked for the CIA to expose the NSA in surveillance programs that severely invades personal privacy. He revealed the truth in the lies in which the US government concealed such information. That became the drive to question the integrity of governmental agencies for a lot of Americans.
The lies to conceal seem very straightforward. Thank you for hopping by and offering your insight. Lying for self-defense is rather straightforward as well, since it has a clear objective.
But I want to say one thing.
What with all the president interrupting me today?
To the American people.
Oh, and he's not even talking to me.
I want you to listen to me.
Fine.
I'm going to say this again. I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. I never told anybody to lie, not a single time, never. These allegations are false, and I need to go back to work for the American people. Thank you.
Oh, come on, Bill. We found the dress. The semen-stained blue dress. We know better. Could you possibly have not considered your intimate interactions with Monica Lewinsky to be sexual relations? I mean, I would have liked to give you the benefit of doubt, but I don't think so. It's just a lie for very obvious reasons of protecting your reputation as the President of the United States of America. It's all right. Most people in your positions do the same thing. And I don't mean the position in which you got caught with the White House intern. Maybe they just don't get caught, but I meant people in the position of the president. I know Trump does the same, don't you?
When during the campaign, I would say Mexico's going to pay for it. Obviously, I never said this, and I never meant they're going to write out a check. I guarantee you, folks, that Mexico is going to pay for the wall, just as sure as you're standing there. Now, I was asking a question sarcastically to reporters like you, just to see what would happen. Right, and then I see the disinfectant, where it knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside or almost a cleaning, because you see it gets on the lungs and it does a tremendous number of the lungs, so it'd be interesting to check that.
What an amazing example for the segment of lies we did today. I would have done a segment on the truth in contemporary politics as well. But we've basically covered it all during the lies. Funnily enough. We've seen how the US government reacted to Snowden's uncovering of the truth. They stayed silent. Trump's reaction to the truths of COVID? Denial. Bolsonaro's reaction to people questioning him about the truth of the burning Amazon forest? He said it's a natural phenomenon. The Lebanese government's reaction towards literally explosive revelation of the truth that they have been hiding for 6 years? They admit to it, but that's the end of story. Similar to the Chinese government, when confronted by the world about the truth of the virus, which they concealed, they admit but didn't do anything more. That's how truth is received in politics. Damn it, Arendt's right again. The mere telling of the truth leads to nothing. Well, hopefully the revelation of these truths acts as a motivation for those affected or those who relate to demand the truth that they deserve. While we all must admit that in the midst of inevitable existence of politics, these truths being the drive to change last only until again the balance shifts back and the world starts resorting to lies again until the next cycle of truth reveals among lies. Politics seems a repetitive cycle of swaying between extremes, but that's topic for another day. If you agree with the statement I just made, though, you would agree with me when I say Arendt drew her conclusion to this reflection way too optimistically. She stated that facts are superior to power. But I disagree. Facts give the basis for the lies that can lead to power. The basis possess value only to the extent of a tool. But apart from this little disagreement in her optimism, the final score of this paper, I give it 4.8. This woman is right about the critical analysis of the truths and lies of politics. Though I will say, despite my take that fact does not prevail power, it perhaps does morally. Now that's all the time we have today. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you catch the next episode featuring a review of Nietzsche's piece titled The Heaviest Burden. It's one of my favorite ones. Make sure to like and subscribe and turn on the notifications. I love you all and see you next week.